Curtis Calhoun with MMA News, and right now I am joined by UFC middleweight Joseph Holmes, who's fresh off of a first-round finish over Alen Amedovski this past weekend at UFC Vegas 55. Joe, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going awesome. Enjoying a little brew over here, kicking it at my desk, feeling great. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And to start things off, congrats again on the win. Just a couple days removed from the fight, what are your thoughts on your performance? And did anything about his approach surprise you and your team at all?
I feel great about how I performed. I was kind of looking for something like that. I've always loved displaying my grappling, which I didn't get to grapple a whole lot, but I did get to show my level of grappling with that choke, finishing without hooks and stuff. But no, super proud of how I performed and super proud of how my team performed as well, meaning like my coaches and my girlfriend. They all did a great job and looked great and professional as well. No, I don't think he shocked me with anything really. I mean, he hit me one time with like a left hook that actually just hit like my shoulder, kind of like my upper bicep area. And the moment it hit, like I felt just kind of like tingling through my whole arm. Like, okay, this guy hits pretty hard, but we already knew he hit hard.
I got you, man. And how do you celebrate the win afterwards with your team?
We actually went to this place called Tony Roma's. They do like a discounted freaking steak, a ribeye. So we got one of those. I got the lobster tails, but my girlfriend loves those ribeyes with the horseradish. And so we went there and then we just got a burger. Our flight was super early the next morning, so we didn't really go be crazy, but
awesome. And you caught him coming in with a knee to the head earlier in the round, set it up, got the knockdown, and obviously eventually you got that rear naked choke. Talking about the knee specifically, did you see that as an opening with your team leading up to the fight, or was that something just off of instinct?
it was a little instinctual just because like I had a small like universal sign the day before at the weigh-ins when I got to meet Martinez. Who throws awesome knees, and he comes from the same camp that my coach Kraus does. So I actually complimented him on his knees the day before and told him I was still in that from him. And I just really enjoyed when I got to see that. Kraus showed me him, and I was like, I really just took to how he threw his knees. I thought it was incredible. So that was a small like sign from the universe that, I think this is something that we could, put into our arsenal and be successful with. But it wasn't like something we saw from film was going to be a huge opening of his or anything like that. I had just been practicing it a lot and throwing it kind of like that fake to the kick and then just bring the knee straight up. It's just kind of how I've been working it. And in my training sessions, like I'd noticed it was open and available. Like sometimes it would have landed. I never landed it on a teammate, but a lot of times I saw like when I would add it into my combinations, like, oh, that would have landed and that would have hurt. So
I gotcha. And what's your post-fight routine usually like? Do you like taking a couple days off, or do you like getting right back in the gym, or what's kind of the plan this week?
no, they give me mandatory 8 days of rest. So I'm taking those days because outside of it, yeah, I'm like a straight gym rat. I'm like constantly in the gym, at least twice a day. My days are just always so jam-packed with training, going to this gym, going to that gym, going to freaking Kansas City, Missouri, always. So anytime they give me mandatory rest, I take it. And I'm just going to live my best life and, enjoy good foods and time with my girl and my kids. So, yeah, I'm going to be resting right now all this week, handling media obligations, sponsorship obligations, and then, turn around next week and get right back to it.
I gotcha. And you mentioned in the lead up to this fight, this was the most amount of time that you've got to prepare for a fight. So what was that whole experience like? And do you feel it was almost a blessing in disguise to get that extra time to focus on yourself and the improvements you need to make?
Dude, that was a huge blessing. Like to have that much time was obviously something that has to be earned because before now I had never got an opportunity like that. So I didn't even know what I was missing. Like I thought life had to be lived like as soon as I'm done with this fight, I got to get right back into the gym, like you mentioned a minute ago, and just get right back to work because who knows, they're going to call me next week or they're going to call me tomorrow, or whatever. So that would always kind of have me on edge all the time, like not knowing when I can just train or not know when I'm like game planning for someone. Like it's really hard actually to live that way because you really don't get times like I have right now to kind of just like breathe, reset, enjoy some of my money, like taking my family to cool places. We're going to the Science Museum this weekend, taking my son, just being able to do stuff like this. Before now, I'd never got that because I'm always dieting. I'm always water loading. I'm always, I got to wake up early tomorrow for strength and conditioning, like life is just always like that. So yeah, no, right now with this opportunity, I'm loving it to just really just enjoy the fruits of my labor.
And when you get that extra time to relax and all that, what do you like to do to relax and kind of just take your time off of, take your mind, off of fighting and all that?
I like to plan parties. I have a celebration party I'm about to start planning right now from winning this fight. I want to celebrate that with people that I love because it's hard for me to get to everyone. Like there's a lot of people in my life, and my circle is really small. So a lot of times I feel like I might leave people out, of being around me and enjoying these things too, because I have a lot of people that do support me. So I do things like that, or, I play video games. I game on a Facebook streaming channel. That channel is called Ugly Man Joe Gaming. I play a lot of cool games, new games, things like that. And mainly just spend time with my girl and my family, man. She has the type of job where she can spend a lot of time with me, and I love it. So we do a lot of stuff together, and we take a lot of trips together and stuff like that. So I really like to travel, eat, play video games, plan parties, and just spend time with family.
Awesome. And you mentioned James Krause a little bit earlier. All the fighters I've talked to, they have nothing but great things to say about James and kind of just the impact they've had on their careers. What's your experience been like working with James Krause and Glory MMA?
I'm a different kind of individual. I'm very particular. I'm very needy. People would say I'm coddled by like my head coach and by my girlfriend, the way I live my life. So when I first met Krause, man, we hit it off right away. Like I remember after my first training at Glory, I actually went up and asked him if I could take him to lunch just because of how grateful I was for the opportunity. And he was like, of course. So we went out to lunch. And I remember we went to his favorite place, Jack Stack, his favorite barbecue place out there. And he was like telling me, oh, you got to try those lamb ribs, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up ordering. And I remember he offered me food like straight off of his plate, like to taste. And I was like, at first I was like, no, you don't have to do that, because that's how me and my coach are. Like me and my head coach, he's taken me to a lot of places, like, different states and different places. And that's kind of how we do. We'll both order something different and we'll just basically share what we ordered, just to try new things. And he did that. Krause did that. And I was so surprised, but he was like, you sure try this? And I ended up trying it. And I was like, I remember the food. It didn't even matter how good the food was. It was just how awesome that experience was that, he offered me food straight off his plate. So we hit it off right away. And he's younger too. And he's in the UFC. So we always have a lot to talk about, and he educates me a lot and shows me a lot. But again, like those things I mentioned before, like I'm very different than most fighters. Like I'm just very, very, very like close with the people around me, like my coaches and stuff. So it was a little hard transition I felt for him because, I need a lot of attention. I don't think I need it. I just like, like I'd probably text him a lot, or I probably, reach out a lot, or have a lot of weird questions to ask, so it was probably different for him to get used to figuring, I just met this guy, but I'm already like, tell me more, tell me everything, so, but we're hitting it off now, man. Everything's awesome. Like our connection's getting closer, our relationship's getting closer. We're getting to know each other better. The way I like to be coached, compared to the way somebody always coaches people might be different, so I've been able to like, talk to him about that, like, maybe do it like this, and I think I'd understand it better, or maybe, don't do that, and I think it would help me more, or we've been able to talk about my past fights and, like how I felt, like, just talking to me a certain way didn't work for me that time, and maybe if you tried it like this next time, it'll work better. So yeah, no, he's very open. He's like an open book. Like I can always just ask him and he'll tell me straight up. Or I could always just tell him how I feel, and he'll always just like, oh, no problem, bud. Like, let's work about, let's work on that. Let's talk with your coach. Let's, get on the phone, blah, blah, blah. So no, I couldn't be more appreciative of Krause. And I think this is the beginning of a very beautiful friendship.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like it. And I know it's only just a few days after the fight, but what's kind of the ideal timeline for your return? Are you trying to get on that Dallas card, or what's kind of your ideal timeline for a return?
What is the Dallas card? July 30th?
July 30th. Yep.
Can't do that. I'll be in Hawaii at that time. It would have been nice. I would have loved to be able to, but my trip's already booked. So I'm thinking like September. I seen a UFC fight night sometime in September where I have a teammate on that card, Trey Ogden.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that might be pretty realistic for me to get on. Carlos will already be having to go that direction. So yeah, I think it'll probably be that around that time, September.
I gotcha. And did you get a chance to watch any of the other fights in the card at UFC Vegas 55?
Actually, I didn't. I kind of watched Cheaties. I actually went back and watched Cheaties later, only because I was trying to get that bonus. So I'm just trying to like look at these other guys' fights, like, you know, who's getting a bonus. So
competition. Yeah.
Cheaty was a big runner up for that. So I watched that one. But no, I kind of was watching some of the Ponzinibbio fight. It was pretty boring, man. It was super boring to me. So no, Holly Holmes' fight was super boring to me to watch. Like, so nah. I did watch Chase Hooper's fight too, just because he won the freaking bonus. So I was just trying to like see how the hell these guys got that bonus over me, but I don't know.
I gotcha. And a lot has been made about after the Ketlin Vieira win over Holly Holm about open scoring in MMA. I guess, what are your thoughts on open scoring? Do you feel like that would be good for the sport, or is that something you would like to see in terms of changing the scoring system?
I mean, I guess I just don't feel like the scoring system needs to be changed. I think that the main thing that we could change is the freaking judges. Like, maybe we could just stop putting randos in the judges' seat and put ex-fighters, you know, like, just like how all these fighters are getting these commentary spots and these media spots. Like, why are we not putting them in the judges' spots? You know, like, that would change everything. Like, if you could just know who the judge is, I feel like that would change. But I never even, like, because I've had a few, like my unanimous decision loss against Jamie Pickett. Like, how was that unanimous? But then again, I don't even know who the freaking judge is. So, like, I can't even question it.
Yeah, I gotcha. And got to ask you about a big fight coming up in your division. Obviously, the champion Israel Adesanya taking on Jared Cannonier. How do you see that fight playing out? And I guess, what are your thoughts on that matchup?
I think it's a good matchup just because Cannonier is exciting. Cannonier looks for finishes and he throws bombs. I think he has a huge shot at winning because, you know, Israel is kind of more like a point fighter. He doesn't really look for finishes. He has some finishes, but he ain't looking for no finishes. So I think Cannonier has a huge chance if he presses him up against that cage, takes him down a few times, you know, and drops some bombs on him and, you know, look for a choke or something. I think I could see Cannonier winning in the third, or maybe like, I see third, if anything, just maybe with a rear naked choke or a TKO or something.
Do you feel like Cannonier has to finish the fight to win it, or do you feel like he can, like you mentioned, point fight and make it a decision?
No, I don't think Cannonier has. I think if it goes past the fourth, Cannonier doesn't have a shot because Izzy just pick and runs. He's looking to fight 25 minutes every fight. Like, that's just boring as hell. Like, nobody's trying to do that. Like, you know, he'll face a freaking, like, compared to his level, he'll face a guy that's like a, you know, a C+ fighter, and he'll just go to decision with him. Like, that's ridiculous. So I would like to see a change in the belt holding, but I mean, I'm not there yet, so there's not much I could do. But I think Cannonier could win it if he just gets after it and just looks, you know, brings that aggression, brings that hand power, really just cuts off the cage and puts him against the cage every chance he get. I think he could win it because Marvin Vettori started having a little bit of success when he was, you know, trying to press him up against the cage, except he just wasn't looking for the takedown. He would press him there and then he would rest. And dude, you can't be resting right now. Like, finish that takedown and rest when he's down. You know what I mean? So I think Cannonier has a shot.
I gotcha. And last question for me. What can UFC fans expect from you for the rest of 2022?
Looking to get 2 more fights. So just looking to have an exciting end of the year. 2 finishes. If you look at any of my history, you'll know that any of my wins are by finish. I'm really looking to hurt someone and put them out. So look out for Ugly Man Joe. You'll see me ripping somebody's head off or knocking some teeth out. We'll have some fun.
Awesome, man. And before we wrap things up here, I'll give you the floor to shout out sponsors you have, shout out your team, all that good stuff. And feel free to shout out your gaming channel too. I'll give you the final word.
Awesome. Yeah, check my gaming channel out at Ugly Man Joe Gaming. That's on Facebook. I'm also on all social media outlets, just at Ugly Man Joe. On Twitter, I'm Ugly Man Joe Gaming. But also shout out to Road Run Cereal Bar located in Arlington. It's an awesome new place. You can get yourself, some different cereals from different countries and places you probably haven't tried. So check them out. That's Road Run Cereal Bar in Arlington. Also, shout out to my coaches, Anthony Salang-Seng at SFS MMA and James Krause at Glory MMA. And appreciate you, Curtis, for your time, brother.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, thanks again for the time. Congrats again on the win. And I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely, man. Be safe.